friends, welcome back to the Film Alchemist podcast, the show where we take the movies we love, break them apart, to find out what gives them their magic. I am your host, Josh Griffey, joined as always by my friend, co-host, and guy who makes your sister wash her hands,
Alex Dandino.
All right, before today's just amazing episode, a little business, we are on Patreon. That's right, patreon.com/Film Alchemist Pod. Guys, it's the absolute greatest way to help support the show, help us grow the show, help this thing keep moving forward. You also get a bunch of awesome stuff. We have a huge Patreon exclusive library that you have a voice in filling with the movies that you specifically want. If you were with us last month for Damn Dirty April, some of the Planet of the Apes movies were over on Patreon. You can get those as well. We got commentaries. We got miniseries. You can even have us record the specific movies that you want. So again, that's patreon.com/Film Alchemist Pod. If you would be so kind, head on over there, support the show. It means the world to us for those of you who do. Thank you for those of you who are about to as well. The YouTube, Film Alchemist, if you want to see our faces. The email, filmalchemistpod@gmail.com if you want to get a hold of us. We're on all the socials you're on. Two things you can do to help the show that are free and easy, right? You can send an episode to a friend. Share on your socials, right? That kind of stuff. Directly connect with one of your movie-loving friends and be like, I got something for yous. You're going to loves it. And then they'll shower you with gifts probably for the rest of your days, right? That'll happen.
Yeah. That
also,
happens.
5-star ratings and reviews. 5-star sentence or two why you like the show. Wherever and everywhere you find the show. All right. Man, it's hard being rich white guys this week. Before we get to that,
find out today.
Yeah, we thought of this curation. We thought this be really fun, right? So the Oscars were 2 months ago now, right? We thought of this during the Oscars because it was such a fun year for the Academy Awards. I feel like the party I was at, normally every year movies are winning and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh, right? Mm-hmm. This year, the room I was in, we were cheering out loud as they were announcing the winners.
First year,
right?
I've been like really excited about people who were winning.
Right. Even Jamie Lee Curtis, who was not even the best supporting actress from the movie that she won for. Yeah. It should have been Stephanie, neither here nor there.
Agreed.
She is an actress who has been amazing for decades, right? Has been awesome. So, like, her and Angela Bassett felt like they could have been the, like, Lifetime Achievement Award. Yeah. So they went with Jamie Lee Curtis. So
Jamie Lee Curtis was like a cumulative Oscar almost.
Yeah, even that, it was fun to see her win an Oscar, right? She was
so grateful.
A person
she was so
that
wonderful about it. Yeah.
Right. So that was great. Brendan Fraser, right? So we saw all these actors we love just winning awards and people cheering, right? And Everything Ever All at Once is legitimately, I was going through, easily top handful of the best movies to ever win Best Picture.
Yeah, totally.
It was an uproarious year. But we thought about, there's this really cool narrative this year about a lot of the people who won the Oscars this year having their shot long ago, or being people that were kind of discarded from Hollywood. Like, they never, ever would have been on that stage, right?
Yeah.
The journey from Temple of Doom to Oscar. The journey of Halloween to Oscar. Brendan Fraser obviously went through a pretty horrific deal. We all know that.
Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh even, right? She was there with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Mm-hmm. If you couldn't make a wave that year, how likely did it seem that was going to come back around for Michelle Yeoh?
Right.
And watching them win was just this glorious, like, keep going, stick to it. So we thought it'd be fun to honor one of my favorite classes of actor winners from an Academy Award.
Yeah.
So this year, this month, just this May, in fact, we're doing early films of all of the actors nominated, right?
Yeah.
So today we're starting with Brendan Fraser, who just... I know The Whale is divisive, and a lot of people were pissed about how it deals with morbid obesity.
That's not what. Yeah, like that's not what.
Take all that shit aside, right? Yeah. If you're mad about the movie for how it portrays overweight people, take that out, right? It's two pretty overweight guys. I was not bothered at all. I think I could speak for Alex too.
I sat in the theater uncomfortably. I saw that at like a PGA screening. There's a theater down like near the ArcLight, which has very comfortable seats, and I watched it in the most uncomfortable seating arrangement I've ever been in a theater. And afterwards I told Andrea, I was like, I'm a little embarrassed, but like I felt really fat in those seats and uncomfortable. And like I was sitting there just like quietly judging myself the entire time.
Before I started trying to lose some weight, right?
Yeah.
And again, this is not a lose weight thing. It's because I was having trouble playing with my kids because I got to that like 300-pound level, right? And you start hitting 300 pounds, the same thing. It's like, wow, I don't really fit in airplanes that well, right? This, that, whatever. We're not here to do like a weight loss.
No.
But I think if you strip away the people who are just mad about how it shows obesity, right?
Yeah.
A level of obesity that most people will never experience. Mm-hmm. That's my last one. Neither here nor there. Take that out. Right? If you take all the like divisive cultural shit away, what is impossible to deny is that Brendan Fraser is not playing Charlie as a joke.
No.
He's playing Charlie as an absolutely empathetic, capable person who just was overwhelmed by their trauma.
Yeah.
Right? Like just could not escape this like loss of love. And, he gave him so much empathy. He wasn't playing him as some kind of like Monty Python. It's only wafer thin. He wasn't doing
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And it's Brendan Fraser's great gift that we kind of lost through like The Mummy a little bit because it has like big action movies.
Mm-hmm.
And, when we were young, it was like Encino Man was like a great movie. We all loved Encino Man, right? So that journey between today's movie, School Ties,
yes,
and The Whale, Brendan Fraser is such a fucking empathy machine.
Yeah.
And this one's kind of fun because it's kind of the exact perfect bookends of what he does well. Because this is young Brendan Fraser who's like full of that youthful energy.
Yeah.
Like, I have vulnerabilities and I will fucking fight to protect them. Right? Whereas Charlie in The Whale is kind of this, I have these weaknesses and empathy and whatever, but I want to express to you how okay you are.
Yeah.
Right? So there's like this inward and outward rage dynamic of those two characters. But School Ties is, man, it's kind of this waiting room for mega stardom of the 90s, right? Like there are several actors in here that go on to be massive fucking actors in the 90s.
The cast is crazy stacked. Like it's
you got Damon, Affleck, you got Chris O'Donnell who goes on to like a huge 90s. You got Brendan Fraser.
Yep.
What is his name? Fucking Cole Hauser is now on Yellowstone, right? That's like our parents' like pornography now.
Cole Hauser, Anthony Rapp, Tom Downey, our friend Tom Downey.
Yeah, our boy Tom Downey, dude. We used to work with him. And super young, insanely handsome Tom Downey repping the School Ties.
Shout out Tom Downey. I always forget he's in this. Like I love this movie, to be honest with you. Like I've watched this just like on my own a lot of the time. And what's funny is because it's one of those things that just always, it's one of those movies that was just it's always on. Like it was always on HBO. So I was just like, whenever I flip through and watch HBO, I was like, oh, School Ties is on. Have never seen the very beginning of this movie ever. It's another one of those like I've never seen the absolute very dead beginning.
It's strange because I had never seen it. I'd always heard about it. I never saw it, but it's funny to me because it's such a proto Dead Poet Society.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think this movie on like an art level comes anywhere close to achieving what Dead Poet did.
No, and I mean it's not supposed
that
to
movie
even
fucking walks so Dead Poet could run. Like beat for beat, like the kid getting broken, the fucking with the teacher's car, like, or that's Son of a Woman, I guess. But there's all these like fucking these kind of like rich masturbatory school movies, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how hard it is to be super rich and your parents want stuff from you. And then the last scene of the movie is just Matt Damon like, I'll be fine, right? And I'm like, yeah, because you're fucking rich white kid. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Kind of completely unraveling all of the fucking nonsense of the movie. But it is just this great Brendan Fraser performance, right? Like he is kind of leaps and bounds above his peers in this movie.
Yeah. So he like and again, like once he gets to the school, all of the adults quietly try to like twice, all like the adult, like the football coach, like, hey, do you have any dietary restrictions? And I'm like, oh, that's a nice thing to ask. And I'm like, wait a second, never mind, I know what he's asking.
Also, hide that Star David, please. Trust me.
There's like
you're gonna
there keeps being these like undercurrents from the adults, be like, hey, don't tell anyone you're Jewish, by the way. That'd be really awkward. Yeah. And and again,
he specifically says, the coach says, he's like, they're not like us. They're not working class.
Yeah, they're not working class.
Like there are things that they will act differently towards.
It's pretty incredible. Like, again, you have to just like take it in stride because it is a different time. So like the oddity of everyone, like when they find out that David like is there, like besides being there for football scholarship, part of the deal is he has to also work in the mess hall. He's like
work his way through school.
Yeah, like whatever, work.
Like we all
it's fine. Like again, you and I sit here and we're like, why would you not have a job? Like that makes total sense. And like the rest of them, like, oh my god,
yeah, I needed going to Best Buy money. You know what I mean? Like that had to happen.
Like the first time they see him with the little like errand boy jacket on, ready to like serve everybody juice and stuff in the cafeteria, they're like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's
like guys,
there's such fucking cunts, all of them.
All of them are just
I have
the
a real
worst
like anti-rich people thing, but
this is like the worst group of rich people ever.
But the thing that is undeniable. See, I'm a fucking idiot. On a mini Accords, I'm proving that I just have a small brain. Brendan Fraser's empathy. Like, really young as an actor, he's learned to tap into this. And this is not the Encino Man, Tarzan, Mummy, Brendan Fraser of my childhood.
This is a completely different thing.
That scene when he's just kind of talking to his dad, and his dad's like, you'll get, this is a fucking chance, son, that you'll never have, right? Presidents had this same chance, and now you get it because you're so good at something. And when they're even at the bus, and he's like, I gotta go, Dad. And he's already kind of trying to hold it in. I was like, he was already a fucking, there's like 5 shots of him just like staring at someone and just like sucking us into the infinity pool of his eyeball.
This is the thing I like about when you get to watch movies like this from the very beginning. Because again, I've like the opener is something I've never seen in this movie, but that scene particularly when he gets on the bus, like I've seen the like fight the biker scene, you know, like that one I've never seen that bus station moment. And I was like, how did we not just like know right then and there?
Your sister's got to come in, but she's got to wash her hands.
Oh, dude.
What a line.
These, like, I also love, okay, but here's the other part where the anti-Semitism thing starts like immediately. And I think that's the part is like, I was like, this is really laying it on thick, like early on. But he's like, I don't like that guy. You know, his people killed Jesus. And the other greasers like, why do you hang out? And he goes, I don't know. I didn't know Jesus. I'm like, might be the best response anyone has in the entire movie to anti-Semitism. Is like, why the fuck do you care? Who cares? He's like, I don't like the guy who killed my Lord and Savior. I'm like, really, biker guy? This is a sticking point for you, huh?
Your sister's running around just handing out.
Your sister's running around just handying everyone, but like your Lord and Savior.
Are you projecting? Are you projecting now? Because you're not getting any hand jobs. But it is, right? We're watching this tough guy character. But we see him, that scene particularly, when he has to try to hide his Star of David.
Yeah.
We see this real moment, right? Because as he's like kind of meeting the guys, there's this omnipresent kind of anything that's not like rich white getting attacked.
Yeah. Well,
right?
It starts
like,
with
if it's effeminate, if it's the fucking douchiest teacher ever, Mr. Clearly running in and talking about, how he won't allow black music.
Yeah.
Right? Or talking about how they got the record, right? There's this kind of omnipresent assault at otherness.
Yeah.
Right? If you're outside
Very
of this kind of fucking white homogeny.
Well, it's like, it's that plus he's brought, it's his senior year. Like, this is like the hook is that he's brought in his senior year to play quarterback for this football team.
Yeah.
And like,
Matt Damon's Madden score is way too low.
Yeah, Matt Damon, who clearly was never going to be quarterback anyways because he's just a full-blown twink at that point. Like, this is like Courage Under Fire-sized Matt Damon. Like, there's just no way he was ever going to do it. So he's like, brought in a ringer, huh? It's like, yeah, dude, he's like 4 feet taller than you and definitely can throw the football. Just relax.
Yeah.
But that's like the beginning. That's like that superficial high school thing. And then between, like the teacher who clearly only listens to classical or whatever and hates black people. And then.
And like likes to debate in French recreationally.
Yeah, recreationally debates in French. And then, the like the phrase, like, and they, again, the way the movie shot's really interesting because they know David can't react when he hears like weirdly like anti-Semitic remarks. Mm-hmm. So like when they're talking about how he got the hi-fi because they're listening to this Smokey Robinson record, I think it is. when they talk about how he got the high five. He's like, yeah, I Jewed the guy down. Like there's this, he's like a really quick shot of Brendan Fraser just like just noticing that and holding on him. And like, that's like sort of this little superpower the movie has, is constantly giving Brendan Fraser like the room to do that thing with his face that like no other actor can do, which is just like be Brendan Fraser. I don't know what that is. Like it's incredible though.
He just has this like empathy magnet, right? So yeah, as they're talking about all this stuff, right, getting the record and whatever, he constantly is hearing. So we see our guy who's like willing to throw it down because anyone who insults his honor, he's gonna fucking knuckle up with them, right?
Totally.
And what's really funny is it kind of gets to this, because yeah, it is kind of, it looks almost like made for TV at times. Like it's not a beautifully shot film.
Yeah.
But they know where to drop the camera. Right? And so yeah, they'll just drop it on. Here's someone saying something racist, right?
Yeah.
You just drop on Brendan Fraser. And what we're doing is we're watching this fucking strong young man cave. Yeah. We're watching him hurt himself, right? Not say anything because now he can be one of them. Yeah. It's what are you willing to give up to become one of them? Right? And there's kind of this insidious nature of watching him be so strong that he just keeps taking it. And when he puts that fucking Star of David away, it's a direct admission that he is willing to give up himself to get to be one of them, right? To go to Harvard, to presumably do whatever the fuck, right?
Right.
Be wealthy, not have the life his dad had, whatever. And so just that, in and of itself, is an interesting and dramatic place to start a film.
Yeah.
You just watch this guy at every corner, just kind of watching, and he knows he's not a part of it.
Yeah.
Right? And so the movie's journey is kind of him slipping further into, you know, like Matt Damon says, right? I admire you because you just are who you are. I'm a Dylan, so like it's hard for me.
Yeah.
Not really by the end of the movie.
It's really not, but you know. Sure.
Like literally nothing you do matters. Like, you'll just be a rich prick. But
there's
watching
just
him start to think that I can just be me.
Yeah.
And earn things on the footing with these other fucking rich white kids will be fine. And the more comfortable he gets, that's where that fucking monster rises up.
Yeah. I think this is like and again, I like this movie. But this is also
I didn't know this was like a tale of racism. I thought this was like a football hijinks prep school movie. So I was kind of caught off guard.
So the what I like about this is the thing I think the movie like shoots for and misses a lot of the time is comparatively they try to make it seem like like legacy, these kids who are essentially like legacies that have to live up to 4 generations of my family have gone to Princeton or Harvard or whatever. There is this like undercurrent. There's like, it's really hard to live up to your parents' potential or the potential that's expected of you. I'm like, never is going to go for me. Like, there's always this like undercurrent that they try to say is like, see, all these kids have some form of oppression or pressure that they can't handle. Like, it's not going to work. Like, there's a world of difference between not getting into Harvard and being horribly anti-Semitic. Like, there's just
that is a different the racism aside, right? The pressure of having overbearing rich
people parents,
right? Famous parents, right? Anything like that. Like, imagine how hard it's gonna be to be Ted Cruz's daughters.
Sure.
Like, I could totally get how that shit is brutal and sucks. The difference in this movie is when you're in an environment that's all Ted Cruz's daughters.
Yeah.
It's a little easier, right? You know, but like, I do feel bad, like, if your dad or your mom or whoever, they're these rich, famous people that have done so much, and you're in the shadow, and you're trying to get into an Ivy League.
Sure.
So you have to fucking have these grades in these stupid ass, overly hard for no reason classes. Mm-hmm. Right? I understand the pressure of that, right? I can totally get that. Your parents have been,
I
you
understand
are less
the
than
pressure.
your whole life. Like when the kid breaks in French class.
Yeah.
He's just like a nice, happy kid who just wants to be a kid.
Uh-huh.
But that is kind of the burden of these rich, waspy people, I guess, is that
I'm not saying
they have to be achieving on a level that
I'm not saying that there isn't.
We never did, I guess.
The story. I'm not saying that like there's a story element that doesn't work, like because like that works in Dead Poet Society. It's like literally the core emotional value of the movie is like these kids need to also be kids. Like these kids need to enjoy life, and that's what takes Robert Sean Leonard to such extremes in Dead Poet Society. The difference
we had to work
is,
hard, but we didn't have like the highest target. You know what I mean?
My parents wanted me to go to college. That was like pretty much the long and short.
My parents were like, just get into a school.
Yeah. Get into college.
And have a job.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can do that.
Yeah. Like, it was like, look, go to college. You'll probably need to get a job, but go to college. I'm like, okay, cool. No problem.
Just get like B's and C's mostly so you can make it into a state school. All right. So like there wasn't a ton of pressure on me in that regard. Like someone like Brendan Fraser, though, you do have to work like 10 times harder. As we see again, that the last shot of the movie fucking kills me because they just unravel all this.
Yeah.
They're like, Brendan Fraser doesn't have to work as hard because he plays football, but you're like, really, he has to work like 50 times harder.
Totally.
And so it is this weird, it's just like a jumbled, like, what the fuck are you trying to say?
Well, the end is like, also, like, so the problem, well, we'll just jump here real quick. The end is this, it is like this sad nihilistic moment where you're just, where literally like, all right, well, let's put this unpleasantness behind us. And he's like, no. Actually, what we're going to do is you're going to get me into Harvard, and I'll win you a fucking I'll win you a championship. I already beat your like rival weird school of other white kids who can't play football properly. I'm going to go to Harvard.
I think that was just football back then, dude.
What's that?
It was an ugly, sad game back then.
Yeah, like he was. Man, the football scenes in this that's the made-for-TV movie moments. Like, I don't know about you, but I was just like, this is horrifying. Like, we've just had plenty of, like, good sports movies enough where you're just like, this football is very bad.
Sports in this movie, this is among the lowest. But it gives us one of the best shots of the movie. Because there is this budding friendship between Dylan, who's the most popular kid, his parents are the richest, the big cocks on campus, whatever. And David, right, who's the new quarterback, who's taking Dylan's place. Dylan's older brother, Gray. Like, that's just like such a fucking rich person name.
Yeah, Gray.
You're so rich you can name your
You're so
kid
rich
this,
you can
like,
just name your kid a color and be done with it.
Yeah. You're like concrete to me, Gray. Just fucking gross. You're like a rhino's ass. Neither here nor there. Impenetrable unless it's mating season. But yeah, so they have this budding thing, right? David makes the insane air of like, I'm going to take his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know that she doesn't love him. Their parents
He does
are trying
make
to
some
hook
missteps.
him up. David knows that Dylan and her are connected before he shows up, right?
Yeah.
And she has autonomy to do what she wants. But I'm just saying, if you're playing the I'm afraid to get outed and don't want to blow my shot, don't take your dude's girl.
Yeah.
Like, you can just
say,
try to date any other girl.
Like, the football thing is not his fault, but, like, there are other actionable items in his, like, things I do at St. Matthew's list that I'm like, dude, come on.
Well,
like, if you want to
play
play football and lay low,
though.
this isn't the way to do it.
He's not laying low at all.
No.
Right? Because that's not who he is on the inside. His inner self just is continuing to be there. He can't suppress it as much as he thinks he should. But the scene when they're playing St. Luke's versus St. Matt, whatever the fucking school they are.
It's the team that they brought him in to beat.
Right. They're having their big rivalry game. Dylan's brother is getting into Hall of Fame, and he's like, hey, let me get a play. He fucking fumbles. Coach chews him out.
Yeah.
Next time he's like, Dylan, I can't, dude. I'm gonna do this, and you're gonna block for me. That's what Coach wants.
Yeah.
Dylan's running, and he's running like sideways and not into the block.
And just
fucking David chucks him into a block.
Yeah.
Runs it in, is lifted on high, and Dylan is laying there on the grass looking up at this guy who is beating him. And that shot to me is everything. Because the next thing we see is this fucking ritzy-ass country club life.
Mm-hmm.
And for one moment, maybe the first moment in his life, Dylan felt what it's like to be trampled by someone.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use you to get where I want. and he can't fucking stand it.
Yeah.
And his dad's trying to gas him up, and he knows he's not good at football, right?
Yeah.
He goes outside, and David is definitely taking his girl.
Oh, yeah.
And he fucking snaps because this kid in his life has never had his fucking dick knocked into the dirt.
No.
And just said, this is how life is. Like, when we were all kids, I know every Midwestern kid had that your dad would take you outside and just whip baseballs at you really hard.
Yeah.
And you're like, don't be afraid of the ball. Right? Or like, you know, they'd take the football and be like, try to tackle me, and your dad would just
even
like,
my dad, who's like pretty non-confrontational, literally like took me outside and he's like, you got to catch the ball, man. Like, it was not a thing.
Oh, yeah, dude. We'd get ass whippings. You know, we'd have to like, oh, it's Saturday. You want to play with your friends? Well, I worked all week in the factory and we're landscaping. It's like, fuck. Yeah. And it was like, that was just it. My dad and my parents.
My
were
parents
Midwestern
were chores
people, right? They taught you got to work hard and life's going to kick you in the dick and no one's going to appreciate you, but you just try to work hard enough to overcome that. Yeah. Great, man. And so something like this, I would have been like, well, that sucked. I got stepped on in football. Oh, my girlfriend went for the definitely better version of me. Yeah, all right. I'll go see if there's a sad waitress smoking by the dumpster, right? Like, that's how my Midwestern brain would process this. But not Dylan. Dylan has never had it fucking rubbed on him before. Right. He's had this cocooned life of wealth and
never
name.
had his nose rubbed in it, not once.
Yeah, his ideal version, and this is kind of a sad state, but you're like, Damon / Dylan, his ideal version of this year was just that he's the quarterback, the team gets blown out for the 5th year in a row.
Yeah.
And he just gets to limp forward. He somehow his parents make this girl marry him who doesn't clearly enjoy him that much. That's the life he's fighting for in this movie. But it really what it is he just doesn't want to have that feeling that David always has.
Is Damon's girl, by the way, like, sorry, this is an aside. I am listening, but this is a weird aside. Is Damon's girl the girl from Crybaby?
Fuck, I haven't seen Crybaby since college.
I can never remember.
You're much better at that. This actor was in all of these things than I am.
I know, and I can't remember who it is, but either way.
But yes.
I agree with all your things.
So it is interesting, right? He just for one moment experienced his life outside of the fucking prep school. This college-sized school, like even my son, Hunter, who's in 2nd grade, he goes, he's going to college? And I was like, no, that's a high school. He's like, really? And I was like, I just kind of laughed. I was like, I can't even believe my kid can make that distinction. Even my kid knows, oh, that's some rich shit, right?
Yeah, well,
like
I mean,
he's got his blinkers up.
Yeah, well, even David, when they drive into the campus, he's like, this is a high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And but this leads us to our like turning point of the movie. Which is Matt Damon's gonna get real anti-Semitic in the shower.
It's all been heading towards this. Like we are like it is a bullet train towards this moment. There's absolutely nothing.
Matt Damon has been trying to figure out how to undercut David.
Yeah.
He just couldn't do it because David was
also
just
David's
better than him.
David's ingratiated himself to everybody because he's just a cool dude. He's a nice guy. He's the one who like sort of because like basically the French kid goes nuts and he like assaults the teacher, which is awesome. Like no one would dream to do it.
You did this. Oh,
and
fucking great scene, dude.
It's a great scene. And then so he like
put his car running inside
his car running inside his room, which is awesome.
That's what I mean. He's like part of them. He's one of them.
He's one of them.
Nothing Dylan can do. And that sinister fucking Matt Damon smile. When he's like, well, we wouldn't stoop so low as to buy a Jewish player for our team. And Damon's like, what? And then when he hears it, he turns and he fucking smiles. We see Brendan Fraser kiss the girl, and we're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, he knows.
But in the shower, he does this like long fucking Jewish joke, right?
Long, really bad joke.
Then he starts, it kind of is this bad joke, right? But then when David confronts him, it just turns into this like high-pitched, childish, voice-cracking scream.
Yeah.
I can't take it! Ah, wow! And it's so fucked up. But then there's this devastating break.
Yeah.
As you start watching all of these characters that we've kind of come to like, right? This kind of motley crew of a football team.
Yeah.
It's reverse Remember the Titans, right? Remember the Titans is like, look at all this racism, but football will overcome.
Right.
Now
it's
we're
like,
bonded. This is the opposite.
Look at all this
like,
football broken apart by racism.
Now racism, right? So racism is stronger than football in some movies.
Yeah.
But you just watch them slowly start to turn on him, right? Like when Cole Hauser's character gets accused of cheating. which he claims he didn't do. And,
Well,
David's
that's
just
like-
trying to give him like a hand on the shoulder. He stands up and is like ready to fucking chest to chest him.
Well, there's like the cheating thing. So somebody crib notes are found by the teacher.
No, not this. I'm saying when Cole Hauser's accused the first time.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
He's like, and he just is about to fucking smack Brendan Fraser for just giving him like, it's okay, man.
Yeah.
Right? You watch all these people turn on him. You watch, they fucking have the balls to put a swastika in his room.
Ooh, yeah.
Right? And that
he
fucking
like
scene,
calls him out
10:30 at night, and he's in the rain. Cowards! Dude, there's something about, I love full empathy, like exposed, vulnerable Brendan Fraser, but there's something about pairing that with I'm gonna fucking kick your teeth down your throat. I mean, it's that perfect, right?
Awesome.
It's that
he's just so good.
Sour Patch Kid thing, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
He's so fucking righteous in this movie. But the one that is really like the gut-wrenching moment is when he goes to swim practice and he's talking to his girlfriend.
Right.
That scene is so fucking devastating. Because we've been doing a lot of fucking around, right? Him skipping Rosh Hashanah and trying to go late. He's always got these little tit for tats, right? It's funny when the kid says, that means they had cocks and I have a wee-wee. Yeah. We're doing football in high school. The racism kind of hits and you're like, all right. It is what it is. It's kind of cartoonish, right? It's not taken, it's played almost very melodramatically, right? The moment when he has to look into the eyes of the girl that he loves and who just loved him.
Yeah. It's
very
still
recently.
Him. Who gives a shit? It's the exact
I think
same
that
person.
scene is because that scene to me really illustrates the absurdity of kind of hateful racist thought.
Yeah.
But also just having to like put it in these really small human context, right?
Yeah.
Where it's so fucking hard to watch this scene. But I think it's really important, man. Like when my kid was watching it, we had like a nice talk. I'm like, this is what's going on, because he was confused.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, it's pretty fucking insane, right?
It's very weird to watch.
You just put it in a one-on-one and have to look at a guy, Brendan Fraser, right, and see this great fucking vulnerability that he presents on screen and say hateful things to that man.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful scene. It's a well-crafted
It
scene.
is.
What are you thinking as this is going down?
I mean, for me, it is one of those, like, the turn in this movie is really where, like, to this point, you've just seen a lot of, like, really weird, like, again, it's not subtle by any stretch, but, like, the anti-Semitism.
Subtlety's not, like, a key feature of this film.
No, not at all. But the anti-Semitism that's throughout this movie is, like, it's what you would expect from, like, a group of insulated white kids who live in a high school
but even
like
that,
this.
It's that, like, me and you just grew up entrenched in this. And I think that hopefully our kids will not as much.
But I also
not even like your parents or whoever, but like when we were young, there was so much casual racism.
Yeah,
and we grew up in like rural Indiana.
Well, my parents also
just
like
casually, you would hear so much shit. It's watching this scene and watching her, and her friends are saying horrible things to her about how hard it must be to kiss a Jewish boy. Her mom's calling her crying. Your grandma would roll over in her grave, right? And instead of having that moment of, fuck, I know this is wrong. She knows that she's wrong. She knows her mom is wrong.
Totally.
She knows her friends are wrong. And he kind of smiles, right? Because he thinks it's cool, right? And he's like, I'm still the same guy. She's like, I know. And he walks up and she's like, ugh. Like repulsed, right? And is like, hey, this cannot happen. And you just watch this person who has the information now to make a better choice. Claims that they would have had they just known up front. Still fucking fail. Still make the wrong fucking choice.
Right.
And the movie, while never subtle, right? Not wildly like artful or introspection in how it's a very blunt force instrument. That, hey, this kind of bigotry is pretty omnipresent. Even and especially in people who should have everything, who should have nothing to be mad about, it's still right there, right? At the start of the movie is the headmaster saying, we need a ruling class. And I'm like, red flag already.
Red flag. Not a great place to be.
Class.
We should not be here.
Yeah, who has empathy and service. And you're like, all right, I wish you wouldn't have said that master class.
Yeah, you should have started it rather than the weird neo-Nazi
You're telling
thing,
on yourself,
sure.
headmaster. You're telling on yourself.
Were you at Nuremberg, sir? What's going on?
Yeah, you're like, you need to bring it down a notch. But then you
Yeah.
just see these people who, you're in the country club anyways. You're already rich and white. If your daughter married a Jewish person, that would be like such a fucking thing.
Yeah.
That like with all the fucking great gifts of your life, that would be a problem. And so the movie, yeah, again, while very blunt force, it gets its opinion away. And not blunt force like American History X. This does it through like true blue empathy. Making people say things to Brendan Fraser's beautiful eyes. His beautiful fucking misty eyes.
Good God.
Yeah.
That must have taken more than
but
one
I think
take.
that's the benefit of the movie, man.
Yeah.
And then we kind of do this 12 Angry White Men finale.
Yeah, so like somebody cheats on the history final. We all know it's Matt Damon. But basically Matt Damon suckers Brendan Fraser, like basically baits Brendan Fraser into
Brendan Fraser tried to do the honorable thing dishonorably.
Yeah.
He should have just, the guy who's been trying to ruin your life and being a huge anti-Semitic piece of shit.
You've got all the cards.
He should have gone immediately to the teacher and said, "Hey, caught this dude cheating.
Yeah.
Wasn't me. Whatever." Right? Because Matt Damon's playing grab ass and he drops the paper. The teacher's got it. They have to sign these honor codes, which is fucking strange. Teacher's
I think that's a pretty.
You robbed me of my honor.
I believe in private schools like that. That is a thing.
Yeah, that's rich person shit.
That's rich
honor
person shit that we've never
I've heard
done.
that's a big thing. Yeah,
never. Yeah, I've never had an honor code.
Seriously though, how fucking dare they?
Yeah, come on.
How fucking dare you sit
Again,
atop your Wall Street fucking criminal empire?
Again, if you think about the headmasters, we need to roll in. Like, hello? Have you been to Nuremberg? Hello? Are you here? Hello? Is that what you're doing here?
Whatever the fuck his problem is, right? But David gives him a chance to speak up. He doesn't. Then David goes to him and says, "Hey, man, who's shown me nothing but that he's a childish piece of shit.
I know it was you.
I'm going to ask you to do the right thing again." Why? And so then he confronts him, and Matt Damon's like, "This is hard for me. I should have been honorable. David did it." And you're like, "You little squirmy piece of shit."
And then the problem is he gets up and he gives like, it's the Brendan Fraser, like, it's the delivery for me, because I've heard Brendan Fraser do this in like comedy movies. Like, "You're a liar. I caught him cheating." Like, dude, come on, don't. But
he set himself up like a rookie bitch. Brendan Fraser is from Scranton, PA, dude. He knows. He's seen swindlers.
He's beat whites down pretty easily. Like,
so
it's
he
important.
should know what the fuck he's walking into, but he does it anyway.
If you're gonna beat down these biker whites, you can definitely take down some prep schools.
I don't know why he gave him that moment. He fucking knows. He knows that this is how
he knows what he's going to do. Yeah, I agree.
And so they're like, we're going to do 12 angry young white men, right? They get around and start debating, right? They're going to debate and debate and debate.
Cole Hauser with the line of the movie. It's like, you're like, it's because, yeah, so they start debating, and basically, like, all anyone can come up with is like, well, you know, David Green's Jewish, so obviously he did. It's like, I don't know what that has to do with anything at the moment. Yeah. And then finally Cole Hauser's like, all right, fine. Like, it's like this, oh, wow, he's really mad. Yeah, because fine, I admit it. I'm an anti-Semite. And I'm like, no fucking shit, dude. Yeah. You're sitting in the fucking room with him. Like, it's not some huge, shocking revelation. Like, it's like, oh, wow, you safely admitted that to all the other whites in this room. Good job.
I mean, I guess it's a growth moment, because Affleck's like, shut up, and then immediately goes back to being anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Kind of all of them do, right? Except for Chris
Anthony
O'Donnell,
Rapp.
who's
Anthony Rapp really commits to being an anti-Semite. He knows.
Right. But they all do this, like, they've seen him as a good guy, so they're trying to justify and change. Essentially, they're going to make do with this secret ballot, right?
Yeah.
So much anti-Semitism. So much it can't be Dylan. He's one of us.
Yeah.
One guy even says, why would Dylan cheat? He's a Dylan. Which is a great fucking kind of moment in that deliberation.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much the microcosm of that entire school.
So they want to do a secret ballot, and you're like, perhaps Dylan got every vote but 3, right?
Yeah.
So, like, he landslide is going to beat David Green.
Right.
And Brendan Fraser comes in, and there's that scene before where he's just, like, staring holes into Matt Damon who can't meet his gaze.
Yeah.
And then they say, we think David Green did it, right? And instead of just being like, fuck you, I'm not going to the headmaster. We can fucking fight this thing out. I can make them take another test right now. I can bring all you anti-Semitic pieces of shit with me.
Yeah.
He just says, I'll honor your traditions. I'll go to the headmaster and I'll fucking lie.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty powerful, if not stupid, moment in the movie. Because I was like, why? But there is this thing where it's like, we want David to be strong in who he is.
Now
David's like, I'm going to concede and lie. And because of that, the priest is like, you represent everything this school is built on. I was like, wait, what? I'm confused
the reason
as to the disconnect.
It's all leading up to this,
Confused.
Dr. Evil chair swivel reveal of Rip.
Actually, you didn't cheat, David.
Actually.
He's practicing for his job 10 years from now.
Yeah.
He's practicing for his down.
He's practicing for his white collar crime swivel in the courtroom.
Take
10
a
years
seat,
from now.
Mr. Smith.
Funny you should say that, David. It's your friend Rip. You did not cheat. And the admission, he's like, look, man, he was my roommate for 3 years. He's a piece of shit and I know it. I'm like, cool. Thanks, bud.
Also, that guy let it slide a bunch, right? We're watching
A
him
lot.
watch the deliberations, trying to figure out when he's going to step up.
Yeah, exactly.
And it seems like he's not. So he kind of apologized, like, my bad, dude. It's like, well, fuck you.
Well,
fuck you very much for this
a little
terrible
too late,
weekend.
but sure,
Yeah.
whatever.
Thanks, Rip.
Another
Rip gets out of
great
there.
white people name. Rip, Gray.
Right. But it's just this, so you are what this school needs, right? All right, cool.
Yeah.
He went through hell. So essentially, he leaves the office, right? He tells the headmaster to suck his dick. He goes down. He tells Matt Damon to suck his dick, even though Matt Damon's like, I'm going to be great in life. Like, my life's going to be great.
You're not
No
going to get into
shit.
Harvard anyways.
Yeah,
but you're always
still
going to be a
fucking
piece of shit.
failing
I'm
upwards, right?
You did not
And
get
then
the upper
he
hand
knows
here,
he's
man.
going back to a bunch of these other fucking anti-Semitic bastards who
Yep.
are now proven wrong, but will still probably never fully believe he didn't do it. So I think the movie has this falsely optimistic ending, or maybe this is what the movie's telling us, right? Is that when you're dealing with bigotry, right, there is no fucking defeating it.
There's no end to it. It's
so
just...
if you get one guy like Rip to make a good choice and judge you by your merits, right, and to turn in his roommate to help you out, that's a moral victory.
Right.
It's kind of a weird, clouded ending.
I'll tell you the real question.
I don't even think the movie thinks it's like an obscure ending.
I think the real problem I have with it is, Tom Downey, why did you not step up? I know you knew. Dylan
That
cheated.
casting director missed a good one. Missed
Tom
a fucking
Downey,
gem.
why didn't you just throw the line? It's like, I know it did it. I'm with Green. Fuck
I
you
know
guys.
who done it. I know who done it. But what we're really
miss
here to
you,
talk
Tom.
about this episode,
But yeah,
right?
Brendan Fraser.
Aside
is,
from all the other fucking things we debated.
but
Brendan
the
Fraser.
movie, I think you said it really good. At the very
Indianapolis born, by the way.
Indeed. I think you said it perfectly, though. It was like, there is like a lot of like lifetime moviness to the way the movie's shot, the way the movie feels.
It
only
reminded
way-
me of the Ryan White story we watched as kids, because that was like a big Indiana story.
Yes. Wow. Good.
But that was a
pull.
made-for-TV
Yeah,
movie,
man.
I think, and this feels very similar.
It's very similar. The only reason it hits like the pedigree is like, look, the performances are fine. Like, these are young actors. These are actors that we all see go on to do like incredible things. But Brendan Fraser's performance is so real and so like
early in his career, too.
early in his career, he just had, and again, I can't say it any other way, that he just had the face. Like, whatever this face is, that he somehow put all the emotions of the world into his face and just accesses those with his eyes every 2 seconds. That
it's
is
pure
the
empathy.
superpower in this movie.
That's his superpower. He is an exposed nerd.
Bar none. He's an exposed nerd.
If
Yes,
you're being
exactly.
horrible to him, you see that. You know, if you're being tough with him, you see that returned. He just can look at another actor and he gets a lot out of it. So again, to bookend this with what he just won the Oscar for, right? Kind of this meek person who has been devastated by trauma, who every day wakes up and is buried further and further in their grief. And the grief becomes this prison, more than the body, whatever, right? The grief
totally.
becomes the prison, right? He could escape the body, it seems like, but he doesn't want to. He specifically says, I won't. But even at the end, there's this empathy for others, wanting to make sure that he's okay with dying. He wants everyone else to be okay when he's gone.
Yeah.
To at least remember something good about the world and him at large, right?
Right.
And that is a role that Brendan Fraser was perfectly made for. To just be this fucking optimistic, empathy, happy feelings kind of a character.
Right.
This one catches him young, before the world has jaded him, right? I can, through my own goodness and character, I can fucking make the world a better place. And he kind of makes you feel like he can in this movie, man. You feel it. You really feel it with Brendan Fraser. That's, I think, the difference. You really... And even Matt Damon, who went on to be a great, great actor. You don't feel it from him. He's kind of just a snotty little shit. Brendan Fraser, you feel the weight of these fucking barbs and this pain that they're causing him. And he's fucking wonderful, man. It's so glad to see him back. Hopefully this Oscar leads to a breadth of good and interesting roles for him.
By the way, he's been on a good run. This is this has been like a really nice thing to happen to him, and I hope he just keeps getting these like great roles that he's been getting.
Yeah, that's my hope too. I hope all of these Oscar winners just like start having awesome projects fall in their lap.
Like, he's been the best part of a lot of good things.
Yeah, I mean, it was just watching him win. Even with that kind of overly metaphorical speech, a lot of like scuba diving knowledge in that speech. Just watching that man get that honor, right? And watching a person who truly is happy because of what this means in their life.
It was really something.
It was amazing to see him. And he thanked me personally, so that was great too.
God damn it, I knew you were going to get through this without bringing that up.
It could have been his oldest son, Griffin, who he calls Griffey.
Definitely his oldest son that he calls Griffey.
It could also be me. He could also be a huge listener.
It probably is not you.
Do I have it on my phone? And when I'm feeling good about myself, do I listen to it on repeat? Yes, I do.
I think we can all agree it's probably not you.
I would say 50-50. Puncher's chance.
I would say
probably me.
40.
You think he singles out one of his sons over his other children, or that he just loves our podcast?
I think...
And I'm not even saying email us or tweet about it to say who's right. Just let it be a mystery, Brendan. I know. You know. We know. We know.
Honestly, I hope he's talking about you. Absolutely.
Dude, if we could be best Indianapolis friends, just meet for brunch in Indy all the time, be the happiest thing that ever happened to me. And my kids. Second happiest thing. Guess my wife. Third happiest thing is my wife, then Brendan, then the kids. That's
nice. At least you're prioritizing. That's good.
I like my kids because they're my wife with some of my flavor, which is good. No, I'm not going to rank the things I love. Brendan Fraser, my wife, and my kids. But there we go. Oliver Platt. These are the things that mean a lot to me in my life. That's it for this episode. This month, the pod goes back. The pod wins an Oscar.
The pod makes a comeback. I don't know.
Pod makes a comeback. We'll think of a title later. We got time. We're way ahead.
We got time
in our recording. But I hope you guys enjoyed School Ties, revisiting early Brendan movies. Coming up next, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yes.
A movie that I fucking loved when I saw it. I probably haven't seen it since it left theaters. I saw it a couple times in theaters. Yeah. It's been a long time, man. Loved that movie. Going back with Michelle Yeoh, just a wonderful actress who so fucking deserved the Academy Award this year. Absolutely dominated that movie. One of the best movies I've seen in my life. So
agreed.
I think this is a really fun curation. So we got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. We got True Lies, because we've kind of done some young Jamie Lee Curtis. So like, what's the most fun Jamie Lee Curtis we haven't done? True Lies. And then we're going to end the month with Temple of Doom. So an awesome array of movies coming your way. If you guys would be so kind, go to patreon.com/filmalchemistpod. Help us grow this thing with a little bit of support. It means the world to us. Thank you. The YouTube is Film Alchemist. The email, filmalchemistpod@gmail.com. Yep. We're on all the socials you're on. Get a hold of us. Share an episode with a friend. Leave those ratings and reviews. And more than anything, thanks for hanging out with us. For the Film Alchemist, I'm Josh Griffey.
I'm Alex Dandino.
Bye!
Guys, don't be a bigot. It's not cool.
Don't do it.
Just don't.